intermittent fasting, what it is, how to do it, and is it the best approach for you? What is intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting means intermittent and fasting. What is fasting? The time that we don't eat. Actually, we all intermittent fast on a daily basis. The time that you go to bed, you start fasting, and the time you wake up, you break your fast. That's why it's called breakfast, break fast. Now, with intermittent fasting, our approach is rather than what to eat, it's more focused on the time window that we actually eat. Think of it this way. We want to extend the time that we don't consume food, and we want to shorten the time that we do eat food. What's the benefit of that? A lot of times when we shrink the window of food consumption, it's easier for us to be in an energy deficit. And that energy deficit is what leads to the weight loss. Now, the easiest way to do this is to think about how do you extend the time not eating and how do you shorten the time that you eat. The easiest one is usually to skip breakfast, or the other alternative is to skip dinner. Skipping dinner is generally a bit harder for some people, where skipping breakfast is a lot of times easier for people because you've already been fasting 7, 8, 9, 10 hours because you were sleeping. So it's easier to just push another 4 or 5 hours and then have your first meal at just before lunch or at lunchtime. If we skip dinner, it's a bit more difficult. We had breakfast, we had lunch, we were busy the whole day, cognitive thinking, we were working, get home, we're tired, exhausted. It's a lot harder for some to skip that dinner. But if you are one of these that finds it easier to not have dinner, by all means, that's the thing with food. There's no 100% that's right. It's nuanced. We always have two ends of the scale, and some people will be more on the left and some people will be more on the right. Do what works best for you. What's the main benefits of intermittent fasting? This, that it boosts autophagy and all these beneficial things and most of those benefits you actually get from a calorie deficit also. Intermittent fasting doesn't give you any other benefit than any other diet or any other form of restriction can. It's a tool. Think of it this way. If intermittent fasting helps you consume less food, by all means, it's a win. If you are one of those people that have to have 3 meals a day because you're just constantly hungry, maybe intermittent fasting isn't the right tool for you. Intermittent fasting is a tool. It's not this magic bullet or this magic cure for any disease or ailment or eating disorders. It's just a tool in our tool belt. I personally intermittent fast sometimes and sometimes not. If I have an evening out with friends or I have a dinner party to attend to, you know what? That day before, I'll intermittent fast. That morning, I'll skip breakfast. Come lunchtime, I'll have 2 pounds of protein just to satiate me, keep me nice and full. Come dinner time, I will eat with the friends and the family, whatever is being served, and I'll enjoy being with friends, enjoying the company. In a way like that, intermittent fasting is very flexible. It can fit in when we need it. However, something we need to be careful of. A lot of people unwittingly intermittent fast and then actually don't reach a calorie deficit because they overeat with those 2-3 meals. What do I mean with that? When we intermittent fast, a lot of us think, you know what, I didn't have breakfast. Lunch, I'm going to have a larger than normal lunch. And dinner, I'm going to have a larger than normal dinner because I only ate 2 meals today. Be careful. Just because you are fasting, don't increase your portion sizes by a lot. That can lead to not being in deficit. 3 popular intermittent fasting protocols. Number 1, the 16-8. 16 hours, we don't eat. 8 hours, we do eat. For a lot of people, that might mean you have your first meal at 11 o'clock, you stop eating at 7. Or you have your first meal at 12 o'clock and you stop eating at 8. 16-8 is a very popular one. 16 hours not eating, 8 hours we eat. The second popular one is the 5-2 method. 5 days we eat normally, and then 2 days we restrict our calories to 300 to 600 calories per day. So it might look like 3 days you normal eating, 1 day intermittent fasting, which actually means here we only consume 300 to 600 calories that day. Then another 2 days you eat normal, and then you have again a restriction day. That's another popular one a lot of people try. If you think it might work for you, give it a try. Another alternative a lot of people also find value from, especially very busy people, is the eat, stop, eat method. They'll eat 1 day, don't eat one day. Eat one day, don't eat one day. Don't fast more than 2-3 times per week where you don't eat. And those days you do eat, you need to make sure you're actually consuming enough nutrients to be able to sustain you for those extended times when you don't eat. Those are generally 3 very popular methods: the 16-8, the 5-2, and the eat, not eat, eat method. Try and see what works best for you. Personally, for me, I generally prefer the 16-8 when I do need it. And every now and then, occasionally, I will do a eat, not eat, eat method. But that's usually only once a week then. I will do 24 hours of no food. Benefit of that, it will teach you actually what hunger feels like. A lot of times we are hungry, or we think we are hungry. We eat more habitually than out of hunger. By doing an extended fast for a day or two, you can actually learn what it feels like again to be really hungry, what hunger feels like, tuning into those body cues. We've lost that ability because we are eating habitually. We have to have 3 meals a day. We have to have our snacks. Those aren't generally out of hunger. They're out of routine, habit, and usually boredom also, emotional eating, and coping mechanisms. Try to learn what your body cues feel like. Tangible takeaways: try intermittent fasting, try those 3 methods, and see which one works best for you. If none of them work for you, that's also fine. There's many ways to lose weight and live healthy. These are all just tools to help us on this journey of becoming healthier. We all have different lifestyles. We all have different preferences. What works for you might not work for somebody else. But you can't say it doesn't work for you unless we actually try, see, experiment, reflect. That's the beauty of life. We have the ability to experience new things, try new things, experiment. But you know what? If you never try, how do you know you will succeed or not succeed? Try it and let me know your thoughts. And remember, the best diet is the one you can stick to consistently. If you have any questions, drop me a comment down below. I would really appreciate a thumbs up and a subscribe, and share this video with somebody you think might find value in it. And remember, be better today than you were yesterday.